Hello everyone, here we're going to look at our second set of videos, which is all to do with multiplication. The first one we're going to look at today is multiplication with partitioning. So if I was to start off with a problem of 12 multiplied by 4, now what we have to do first off, we have to partition our 12, which can be partitioned into 10 and 2. Okay, so 10 times 4, 10 multiplied by 4 is 40. Add on our 2 multiplied by 4, which is 8. This gives us our answer of 48. So that's multiplication with partitioning. We look at our tens and units number and we partition it. Easiest way to do that is to partition it into the 10 and the 2 units and work it out just like this. Thank you. Okay, the second method of multiplication we're going to look at today is the grid method. We'll use the same numbers that we had in our first example. So we've got 12 multiplied by 4. Now we start off by doing 2 lines. Our multiplication sign goes in the top left hand corner, another line down there, and we start with our tens and units on the top. So we've got 10 and 2, which is our 12, and we're multiplying by 4. So 4 times 10, as we know, is 40. 4 times 2 is 8. We add both of those together. It gives us 48. Okay, that's the grid multiplication method for multiplying a tens and units to a unit number. What I'll also show you just now is I'll show you how to do tens and units with a tens and units. So if we've got the problem of 72 multiplied by 11, much the same way we draw our little grid. Alright. Okay, so we've got the top left hand corner our multiplication sign. Our tens and units on the top, so our 72 we break down into 70 and 2, and what we're multiplying by here is 11, so we break that down into 10 and 1. Okay, so 70 multiplied by 10, 10 multiplied by 70, as we know, is 700. We then work 10 multiplied by 2 is 20. So we've multiplied the 70 and the 2 by 10. We now have to look at multiplying by 1, which is fairly straightforward. 1 times 70, 1 multiplied by 70 is 70, and 1 multiplied by 2 is 2. Now we have to add all these numbers up together now, so we've got 700 and 70 and 20, so 700 plus 70 is 770, add on 20, 790, and then our final 2 at the end is 792. So that's grid multiplication for a tens and units with a unit as multiplier, and multiplication of a tens and units by a tens and units number. Okay, our third method of multiplication is known as vertical layout column multiplication with partitioning. Now we're going to look using the same number as we have done in the previous 2 slides. So we'll start off with our 12 multiplied by 4. So first off, what we're doing is we're multiplying our units by 4. So 4 multiplied by 2, as we know, is 8. And I'm just going to put a brackets there to remind me what I've done. So I've multiplied by 4 by 2. The next step is to multiply my 4 by 10. Okay, so 4 multiplied by 10 is 40. And again, my brackets here tell me what I've done, so I've multiplied by 4. 4 multiplied by 10. All I have to do now excuse me, is add my two numbers together. So my 40 and my 8 gives me the total of 48. Okay, the next step we're going to look at is multiplying with vertical layout. So if we look at the problem, 12 multiplied by 4. The first step, step number 1, which we do, is multiplying our units. So we're going to multiply 4 by 2. 4 times 2 is 8. We put our 8 in our units column. And then we look at step 2, which is multiplying our tens. Now we've got 1 10. We're going to multiply that by 4. So 4 multiplied by 10 equals 40. Now we don't put the 40 down, we just put down 4 for 4 tens. So our 4 tens and our 8 units gives us the answer of 48. So that's multiplying with vertical layout. Okay, the next strategy we're going to look at today is multiplication, and it's got a vertical layout, and we're carrying today as well. So if we were looking at the problem of 27 multiplied by 6, the first step, step number 1, is to multiply my units. Now here in my units column I've got 6, I'm multiplying by 6, so, and I've got 7, so 6 multiplied by 7 is 42. So that's my first step. I've multiplied my units. Now my 42 is made up of 4 tens and 2 units. I put my 2 in my units column, and underneath in my tens column I put my 4 tens. So that's step 1, multiplying my units. Step 2 is multiplying my tens. Now I'm multiplying by 6, I've got 2 tens, so 6 multiplied by 2 gives me 12. But I've got to add on my 4 tens to the 12 tens, so I've got 16 tens altogether. So all I simply do now is I put my 6 in my tens column and my 1 next to it, because I've got 16 tens. Now 16 tens, as you know, is the same as 106 tens. So the answer we've got here, 27 multiplied by 6, is 162. So that was vertical multiplication, vertical layout with carrying.